Alright guys, in today's video, I'm going to be going ahead and showing you a few methods that you can use to find verified, accurate contact information for e-commerce clients for your marketing agency. Now, this video is pretty much a part 2 of the initial video that I put out last year, where I went over how you can pretty much never run out of qualified leads to reach out to in the first place. So I talked about a few things, including the Instagram algorithm method, the Google search method, where you can type in a different type of sub niche or a different type of e-commerce product, online product, physical products. And you can instantly find a bunch of blog articles with different types of qualified leads, which you can then also plug back in to the Instagram algorithm method. That's part 1 in the chronological process of building out your lead list. The second part is you need to find some sort of direct person of contact. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck emailing info at, contact at, sometimes hello at, or you're just going to be filling out a contact form on a business's website. And you have to keep in mind that most of those emails just never end up getting read or even opened. And a lot of those emails are just handled by some sort of staff member, handled by like a secretary type person, or they're never really even read. And in order to maximize the success rate of your outreach, you need to be making sure that you're not only getting a direct point of contact, but that also that information is verified and that that's the best possible lead, best possible person you should be reaching out to. So like I said, this is part 2, and you definitely have to keep in mind that this is mainly made with e-commerce in mind, but these methods can work equally well for different types of niches. So whether you're in e-com, whether you're working with coaches and influencers, or whether you're in local business niches, these are all effective regardless of whatever niche or industry you're working with. And so I thought I'd just pull up an example lead list that I had my assistant build out a few months ago. And keep in mind, this isn't the best list as far as lead quality, because this was the first list that I had her build out right after training her with a quick Loom video on how I went about doing things. And so with this list, you'll see that a lot of these types of leads are typically founders, CEOs. You'll see some co-founders and owners here. In a moment, I'll talk about how exactly you should pick out these different types of people, because it's not always suitable to be reaching out to the person way at the top of the totem pole. And that's typically with instances where you have really, really big companies. It's not always ideal to be reaching out to someone like a founder, for example, because they at that point can be very hands-off and they might not be as involved in the day-to-day as someone like a CMO or a COO or maybe even a CEO in that case. And so I'll teach you guys how to make that distinction roughly. And at the end of the day, it's still your judgment, but I'll show you guys a couple of ways that I determine who exactly to reach out to. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and take you through my process of actually finding their emails and verifying them. So we're just going to go ahead and find a point of contact with any of these leads here. So let's just start off with something like 5-4 Clothing. So we'll pull up their website really quickly. And we're just going to go into this assuming that they're the ideal sort of candidate, that we've already qualified them, that we've already made sure that they're okay to reach out to, that they're not going to be too small or too big of a company. And going in with this assumption, it's very simple from here on out. All you need to do is type in the name of the company followed by LinkedIn. And in this process, we're going to be using an extension called Rocket Reach. And keep in mind, there are other things like snov.io, for example. There are all these different extensions that you can use to find direct contact information and direct emails. But believe me when I say this, at this point, I've done it myself for hundreds of leads. My teams and my, whether that be my past VAs, my past lead sourcing teams, and my current assistant, between all of us, we've probably tested thousands of leads at this point, and we've tested these thousands of leads with different types of extensions, different softwares. I personally have done like 6 or 7 at this point, and after all this extensive testing, we found that Rocket Reach is the best and most reliable one by far. So we're going to go about using Rocket Reach mainly in this video. So your next step from here on out is to pull up their business LinkedIn page, because that's usually where they list most, if not all, of their employees. And so you go ahead and you click on this left hand side tab here under people. With this company, you see that they have under 50 employees. So this is a good point to still go about looking for the founder or the owner and pretty much the person at the top of the totem pole, so to speak. With companies that have like usually above 100 employees, sometimes over 200, it kind of gets a little iffy from there on out. Sometimes you have to start looking for CMOs and marketing directors because they're so big of a company that someone like founder or owner probably at that point is a little less involved in the day-to-day. That's not always the case, but that does happen more frequently in bigger companies. But in this case, it's still fairly safe to reach out to the CEO or founder or the owner if we can find them. So usually what I like to start off with is just founder. And you can filter this down and instantly we've filtered down this entire list to the five most qualified people based on this search keyword. So we have this guy right here. We have this lead and we have this one. And these other ones are a lot less relevant. This one's merchandising and design assistant. This one's content manager. But you need to look at their job descriptions very closely in their profile. It looks like this guy is only really a senior footwear consultant, even though he popped up under this founder keyword search. So this one's automatically unqualified because they're not an executive level person, and he probably has a lot less decision-making power than these guys here. With this guy, he is the co-founder of 5-4, and with D. Murthy over here, he's the CEO. So if you have a decision to make between these two, I personally, just taking a glance at it right off the bat, I personally would reach out to the CEO in this instance for a couple of reasons. First off, with the founder, there's still some sort of chance that he's not really too involved in the day-to-day. Unless someone is a founder and a CEO, in that case, you would definitely want to reach out to him or her as first priority. But in this case, you have this co-founder here, and then you have a more active role CEO. And you can see that he has his own podcast, that he has a lot more of a robust LinkedIn profile, and he just overall looks more active online and on social media. Whereas someone like this, Andres over here, co-founder, there's still a chance that he is taking a more like backseat role of the company. Maybe he's gotten to the point where he's just a member of the board, right? Maybe he's not very, very involved in the day-to-day. In this case, I would actually choose D as your first point of contact if you can find a direct email here that's verified through Rocket Reach. So your next step, download this extension, obviously. Get the paid membership if you haven't already, and click add on this lead. And so in this case, it might take a little bit of time here, but you can see that we have a direct email under the business domain. Now, quick reminder here, you might get a few people where they have a Gmail address, for example, so that's their personal, and a business email. And it's always best to reach out to the business first if you have access to that, because more often than not, if you're emailing to a personal, they might find it kind of weird because that's not really where they usually expect cold business emails to go to. So I would just try my best to exclusively reach out to business emails. If you have no other option and that's still the most qualified person, don't hesitate to send it out to like an Outlook or a Gmail or some sort of personal email address. It's just that usually your business email addresses are more polite, more formal as far as a business sense. So your next step from here on out is go ahead and visit this website called NeverBounce. Create an account, sign in, and if you want to just single verify, you can just click on this little tab here. And as you can see, I just typed in the co-founder's email a little while ago. In this case, I haven't actually tested this one out yet, so we'll put in this guy. We'll hit validate, and if it comes up valid, as it did here, so bright green valid means it's okay to reach out to. If you see a result like this here, like accept all, I used to reach out to emails like this. It's just that I found through extensive testing again that there are some instances where these accept alls are still invalid. They're still not correct emails, or you might get your email bounced. And you want to avoid that as much as possible because little known fact, the higher your bounce rate, generally the more your deliverability goes down because different spam filters, different ESPs might start thinking that you're just randomly and indiscriminately sending out emails to email addresses that might not even be correct, or you're making a bunch of typos and you're just being careless. And so that increases your rate of getting marked down as spam, which is a no good for your agency. So case in point, only reach out to valid emails. And then your next step is go ahead, copy this guy's email and obviously paste it back into your list since it's accurate. And from here, your only next steps are looking for their LinkedIn profile, which you've actually already pulled up here, connecting with them, and then going ahead and finding their personal Instagram if that exists. It's not too hard. Usually it just involves going to the business's Instagram page and then looking at who they're following, using that little search bar up above on your phone, and then just typing in the point of contact's name. And if they're somewhat high up in the company, they're usually being followed by the brand page. With Instagram, I just use it to serve as another point of contact where if they're unresponsive on email, I can always fall back on Instagram and LinkedIn to make sure that they at least get a better chance of seeing, reading, and engaging with the message that I sent them. And after you've done all this for say 25 to 50 fresh leads, you pretty much have your first list to go ahead and start reaching out to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was relatively short because this process isn't too hard to go through if you're savvy. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.